at the White House. This is all, when it works well, supposed to be coordinated so that when we get, let's watch the vice president's family go down into the car. We'll get them loaded in, and then the president.
What he thinks is the people's business and his ability to influence public opinion. You spoke of that about that with Doris Kearns Goodwin. That matters a great deal.
There's the First Lady. There has been, to be perfectly honest, as much talk about her new haircut on her 49th birthday. Next up, Willie Geist at the Navy Memorial.
Yeah, why should anyone have voted for Mitt Romney? Why didn't they? Why didn't he win? And the answer is the party has not kept track with the demographic changes that are taking place in this country. 74% of Hispanics, 74% or 73, one of those numbers, of Asian Americans, and 94% of demographic changes in our society, as well as the societal changes. Society is changing, and the Republican Party has not been keeping up with it. And if you dare to say that, then you're violating the orthodoxy of the party, and you find yourself attacked. A lot of...
It's sort of echoing the same theme that launched his national career, of this idea of trying to bring the country together. And you remember that speech? There's no red America. There's not a, there's one God. There's not a red God, a blue God, things like that. And yet it has been the, this has been the promise, the big promise he made about his 08 campaign in his 2009 inaugural that he hasn't been able to keep, but been able, have wanted to reach out on their end. But he's going to talk about the same issue, trying to bring America together, trying to cut through the gridlock that has been sort of hanging over us, going back to that first speech he gave that made him so popular in the first place.
Epic, so it really can tie things up, and it can be quite difficult at the same time. It carries problems that a first term doesn't inherently.
As I asked you that question, we by happenstance saw a picture of President Clinton, who had his own troubles in the second term. External factors, internal factors can both affect it. There's Beau Biden. Michael Beschloss, there's no crystal ball for this kind of thing.
They're still going to negotiate that path. They've got to both, as we look at the first daughters, reflect the public desire to cut government spending, to compromise, while also thinking ahead to their own political calendar and trying to push the president where they can, where they think it's appropriate.
This is as decent a measure of how far we've come in 4 years as any. Everyone looking at the first daughters, saying how big they've grown in 4 years.
They seemed like little girls 4 years ago, and now they are young ladies.
And notably out of the spotlight, which is just how their mother and dad want them.
Yeah, Sasha needed a box to stand on last time. No more.
Her older sister's strikingly tall. She moves around the corridors of school.
And their grandmother, Michelle Obama's mother, is there also. We don't really get to see enough of her.
As is her wish. And aware of what's next in many cases because of the big screen TV.
Sasha Obama. Also, Miss Marion Robinson.
You heard a giggle there as they heard their own names announced. They are still just kids.
I was asking Jenna Bush what it was like to just stand there and look out, and she said it's just amazing.
Those are really good seats down front. And here she comes. Savannah, I do
Ladies and
note.
gentlemen, the First Lady of the United States, Mrs. Michelle Obama, accompanied by Secretary of the Senate Nancy Erickson, Clerk of the House of Representatives Karen Haas, Mrs. Schumer, Mrs. Reed, and
She has added a belt to the coat since we first saw her at the church service.
You men always talking about the fashion. I don't know what to do with you.
It's a J. Crew belt, isn't it? I know the shoes are J. Crew.
Well, don't make me look it up. That's right. The shoes are J. Crew. Many of the accessories are J. Crew. This is a designer that's not known to most of us who designed the coat. And for her sake, I was hoping that her shoes are comfortable because she has a walk in front of her today during the parade.
I will say, Michael Beschloss, we can say without hesitation, there has not been this much fascination with a First Lady easily since Jackie Kennedy.
I think that's exactly right, and sort of equal to that. And the thing that's most interesting is that in Jackie Kennedy's case, when she became First Lady, she was 31 years old. Michelle Obama, a little bit older, but she had not lived in Washington. This was a whole new life, and she took this life up without missing a stitch.
Greg Robinson wearing Princeton colors today.
Yeah, alma mater and not the team he coaches. The next wave is coming down the stone steps. Michael Beschloss.